Have you ever looked at an outfit and thought, it's good, but something's missing? Well, I definitely used to feel that way until I started incorporating more accessories into my looks. So today, I'm gonna be sharing and showing some of my accessories that have sort of elevated my looks and also made me feel more complete. In the context of today's video, and considering that a lot of my content here is centered around a more androgynous unisex style, I feel like accessories aren't just a cherry on top. They're sort of the detail that has made my outfits feel more like me. So let's start with the first obvious one. Hats and beanies. I think most of us can agree it's the ease that hats and beanies sort of provide, like, hiding a bad hair day, or just when you're not feeling it, or even if you live in colder temperatures and colder areas and you just want to keep warm. But they're also great for balancing proportions, especially when playing with oversized or structured silhouettes. A hat can add more of a sporty edge and a beanie can bring more of a relaxed tone, as well as vice versa. I think playing with different textures and materials like knit, canvas, wool is sort of another fun way to make your outfits more interesting with hats. I think it's important to experiment with different hat styles to sort of find what feels right for you. For example, I found that trucker style hats don't really fit me well, and I used to think that I didn't really like fitted style caps, but turns out you just have to experiment and try something new. Now let's go to belts and ties, which I kind of group in the same subcategory. I think similar to hats and beanies, belts and ties are perfect for adding structure to your outfit, but sort of in a different way. I feel like with belts, they're great for defining your waist or whatever silhouette you may be trying to highlight or achieve. They're classic belts, they're statement belts, there's this sort of Y2K belts, which have sort of become more popular again. I think both accessories I've always sort of viewed as more traditionally masculine, but I found that when you style these intentionally, they sort of help blur that line between masculinity and femininity in a way that feels a bit more effortless. I think I've talked about this in some previous videos, but as you guys know, ties have sort of been like a new addition into my style and my wardrobe. I think I've always sort of shied away from ties because they felt super formal or like super traditional, which didn't always feel like me. However, I've been finding that they're a great way to add a more playful element to an androgynous style, which is what I would consider my style as. It's sort of less corporate and more fun. I think the most obvious style examples are ties over basic button-down shirts, experimenting with patterns or textures. Personally, I've been realizing I'm more of a skinny tie girly, which might not be the case for you. So it's important to experiment and, again, find what works for you. There's something about sunglasses that just sort of screams confident and cool. I think this is probably one of the more easy accessories that can not only elevate your style, but also add personality and also be a confident booster. Now, I personally don't have a super huge sunglasses collection, but I have what I would consider my sort of daily one and my more fun one. I think the biggest thing with sunglasses to consider is obviously finding the right frame for your face, which is something that I'm still kind of playing around with because there are so many shapes. It can be sort of overwhelming to find what works. So it does take time and you kind of do have to be a little patient. But I think the biggest thing is making them a part of your outfit. I've always sort of seen sunglasses as more of an afterthought, which I think has made it a little bit harder for me to sort of focus or find the right frames because I don't look at it as such a big deal or such a big part of my outfits. But I'm trying to think of sunglasses as more of an actual part of my outfit and less of an afterthought. Let's talk about jewelry, which is another very obvious one and I feel like a lot of people gravitate towards. I think one of the things that I really love about jewelry is that while it can be super subtle or simple, it can also be personal, like a meaningful stone or maybe something that was passed down to you or something you've just collected over time. It's the perfect way to add that detail to your outfit. So let's sort of talk about the different types of jewelry. So one of the first ones is the chain. This is the classic simple but versatile necklace. It can be thin, it can be chunky, it can be whatever you want it to be, but what it does is it sort of adds a clean finishing look to any of your outfit. The fun thing about having a simple chain is that you can sort of put any pendant to that chain that you want. I think that pendants are another way to sort of personalize your jewelry. When I think of pendants, I'm thinking of things like stones, you know, jade necklaces, symbols, shapes, things that sort of add more personality and tell people more about who you are or sort of the things that you do like. One of my favorite forms of jewelry is rings. I can't say I've always been a ring person, but over the years, I feel like it's something that has sort of grown on me. I usually like the stacked rings or chunky ring look for myself, but that may not be something that you like. Everyone likes things that are different, but it's important to focus on materials that hold up over time. Some of my favorites are usually either stainless steel, sterling silver, mainly because they are durable, they're timeless, they're also resistant to wear and tear, and generally just more affordable. When it comes to earrings, I usually gravitate towards things that are dangly or more hoop style earrings. That's sort of what feels comfortable to me. However, there are people who like things like studs, gauges. There's different styles of earrings that you may find that you like, but again, similar to other types of accessories, it just really comes down to wearing things that make you feel more comfortable. Let's talk about the accessories that you can't see, but it's just as important. Scents, of course, add that finishing touch, creates a lasting impression, and it feels intentional. I feel like every time someone walks by me and they have a certain scent on, it reminds me of a certain moment or whoever that person is. And I don't know, I feel like when it comes to scents, it's such a little detail, but it's also such a big thing that has such a big impact on how people perceive you and how people sort of, you know, remember you. When it comes to scents, there are a couple categories that can kind of help you figure out what you like, what you don't like. So there's the fresh and clean, which is more of your citrusy based floral scents. There's the woody and earthy. These are gonna be your sandalwood, cedar, your warm and spicy. This is gonna be amber, tobacco, cardamom. Now, for me, most of my scents do lean somewhere between a more masculine or somewhere in between that, just because that's what I personally prefer. But you can kind of wear and mix and match whatever you like. I also really like to layer my scents as well. My best advice when it comes to scents, if you're new, is to go with something that feels balanced, and also be open to sort of experimenting with other fragrances that you may not like at first. A lot of fragrances that I've, you know, tried, the first experience you get, it feels sometimes really overwhelming, but because scents kind of react with everybody's body differently, there might be a scent that over time you're like, wow, I actually like the way that this smells. So be open to sort of experimenting and being patient, and think of scents as your signature, something that, you know, you want people to know you by. I feel like I obviously didn't talk about a lot of other accessories that maybe don't fall into this category, like bags, you know, glasses. The most important thing to remember is to start small. If you're new to accessories, you know, one necklace, one hat, one belt, those sort of things can make the difference in focusing on pieces that are versatile and can work with most of your wardrobe. It's really about what you feel comfortable wearing, and it should be a reflection of who you are. So in the comment section, let me know what your favorite accessory is and why it is your favorite accessory. If you like this video, or if this video gave you some styling inspo, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will see you guys in my next one.